Hi Scorpio, welcome to your extended week ahead horoscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Scorpio, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that's just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, like peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your keys to the week, because there's two obviously ahead of you, you've got the Death card and the Judgment card. Now usually one of the more challenging meanings of this combination is actually, you know, and I touch wood, I don't want to freak any of you out, but you are Scorpio, so you guys can handle it. This combination actually can speak to physical death. It's one of the few that really does. That being said, it could also be a really powerful week for a lot of you to do some sort of ancestor worship or practice. This could also be a powerful week where, for those of you that have them, mediumistic skills and tendencies may show up for you. Now, I talk about this a lot in my in my practice of reading tarot, because when these things show up for people, especially if you're the sort of person that's repressed this gift for a long time, if it's completely new to you, or if it's been dormant for a long time, when this stuff wakes up in you, if it happens suddenly, it can be really disconcerting. And for a lot of people, they often wonder, you know, like, am I losing it? Is there something, you know, gone wrong in the brain? And it's a good question to ask, right? Is it a chemical imbalance? We have to, you know, as spiritual as we are, as woo-woo as we can be, it's also important to keep ourselves grounded in reality. All right, so it's really, really important that you look at all options. But when this stuff sort of shows up the first time round, for a lot of people it can be very scary. So just be aware that this may be something that starts to wake up within you over the course of the next over the course of the next 2 weeks, right? Now that being said, there is something that I did see when I put these two cards on the board. The first thing that came to me was, this is literally the death or the end of an era, the Judgment card, right? So over this next fortnight, something is coming to an end. It's like you are crossing a threshold, you're entering a doorway or an opening of some sort. It's like wherever you're going over the course of this fortnight, whatever you've set into motion, that's it, right? There's no going back. Something about you is going to be vastly different after this next 2 weeks. You know, it's interesting as well, because obviously we've got the nodal shift that's going to be taking place in January as well. So, you know, this is a big moment, all right? So for a lot of you, you know, over this course of this next 2 weeks, what is it that you're ready to release? What is it that you're ready to let go of? Where is it that you need to be more vocal, honest and open about that, right? That's just something that's going to come up with this. There's an end of an era that's taking place here. And it's really funny because a tutor talked about this in his Gemini full moon video. That was the title of it. I haven't actually watched the video at this point, but I kind of feel like this speaks to that. And if I'm not mistaken, Gemini is the 8th house for Scorpio, so it kind of makes sense, right? I love the way that this all ties in. And obviously I got the keys for the next 2 weeks ahead from your monthly video. Those feed directly into these, so it's kind of interesting, right? I didn't know who was going to make that video, and you've got these, and it's, you know, I love the way things sync up. Anyway, with that said, I just want to say a heartfelt thank you so much for all of your support throughout 2021. For those of you that have been with me this year, for those of you, and I know there's a few hardcore ride or dies that have been with me for a very long time, I send you so much love and so many blessings for the year ahead. I really can't thank you enough for helping Radiant Reality continue to grow and become everything that it has. So from my heart to yours, whatever you do or don't celebrate for the last time this year, have an amazing one. With that said, if you are new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and this resonates, hit the subscribe button. All right, so for your actions and options, you have the 4 of Cups, right? So this is an interesting one because there's a lot of deep introspection taking place this week, right? The 4 of Cups It's not just about being in a funk. Sometimes it's really about taking stock, especially on that emotional level. The fact that you've got this kind of interacting with that end of an era energy, this is a lot of you really taking a moment to think about what it is that you're ready to release, what it is that you're ready to let go of, what it is that you're ready to phase out, and more importantly, what it is that is either no longer providing emotional stability or what is robbing you of that emotional stability, right? So that's just one way that you could look at this. The other thing with that Four of Cups as well, it suggests that while there are a lot of completions, culminations and endings happening for you over this next fortnight, including the end of a year, if you buy into the Gregorian calendar, if you buy into all of that stuff, but we are at the end of the year, right? Even in terms of, like, if you were to use the old calendar, the 21st, so into this week already, this fortnight, should I say, it would be the end of the year. So it's like you're observing all of this and you're not really aware of what blessings await you for the endings, the completions and the culminations that are going to come. All right, so stay as positive as you can. When I say that to Scorpios, a lot of them are like, you're too happy, you're too positive. For your communications and communications, you've got the Knight of Swords. I got to be honest with you, just because of the cards that it's kind of under, this kind of feels for me like one of the conversations or one of the moves that you've made. Do this really, really well this week, all right? Don't make any hasty decisions. Don't make any hasty cuts or removals. And the reason I say this is because I kind of, like I said, you're walking through a door, right? You're about to go into this brand new threshold. The nodes are coming into your sign and your opposite sign. That in itself is going to be huge. There's huge growth and huge blessings and, maybe even some huge, not so nice moments that are coming as well. But, rough with the smooth. You guys are Scorpios, you can handle it. But with this Knight of Swords, it does suggest that you're about to burn a bridge or you're going to end something premature. And the Knight of Swords often says to you, you're being too hasty. Take a moment to think about it. The other thing is as well, this kind of suggests that maybe some of the meetings or the connections or the conversations that you'll have over this next fortnight, pay attention to what is said. Pay attention to what's actually being said. You guys are really good at reading subtext, etc. Pay attention to, and this used to drive me mad when I went through a phase in my late teens coming into my early to mid 20s where I would have conversations with people, and rather than hearing the inflection and all the rest of it in their voices, I could literally see the words that they were saying underneath or over what they were trying to say. And it drove me mad for a long time until I was like, this is cool. This is kind of saying this, all right? It may be that somebody has an expectation that you're not aware of. It could be that maybe you've sold something or oversold something, or what you've offered is not actually what you know what I mean, like somebody's expecting. So just really try to pay extra attention to your conversations over the next fortnight, apart from the ones where you're enjoying and indulging and all of that, but just be careful. So for those of you that are employed, one way that this might show up for you as well, a lot of you are in that place where you're ready to start leaving jobs now, which is great. Just be sure that whatever you have lined up tallies up. Make sure that, especially if you're doing, we've all done it, where you apply for another job and you go for interviews without telling anybody at the current job. Be careful, because it could be found out over the course, and sometimes then it gets awkward at the job, and you know how it is. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, maybe something that you're trying to implement, maybe it's a little bit too fast, especially if you're trying to do it in this next 2 weeks. All right, so just be sure, maybe think about the plans, think about what you're doing, where things are going. And then for those of you that are retired or no longer working, it's the Knight of Swords. So, I mean, you guys are pretty, forthright anyway. It's one of the things that I love about you. But this week, it's like how you come across might come across as more aggressive than you actually mean it. All right. For your love and relations, you've got the Ten of Swords. Okay, so that's not nice, not easy, but you know, it is what it is. It's underneath the four of Cups, right? So for those of you that are single, this really, especially because of these cards, this is like you're done with a certain type of relationship. You're done with a certain type of person. It's like whatever or whoever I've attracted up until now that hasn't been good for me or hasn't been right for me or hasn't been good to me, right? I'm not going to have that again. It's like you're drawing a line under whatever your previous life love history is. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, I mean, it's underneath the Four of Cups, which suggests that you're looking at the relationship with fresh eyes, right? You're seeing it, and it's kind of one of the things I often say to people with the Ten of Swords. It's not always what you think it is, right? Sometimes it's literally just maybe you've had a difficult period in your relationship and now it comes to an end. Maybe you decided that actually we were going to do this and now that path isn't open to you anymore, so it's cut. The beauty of the Ten of Swords is that whatever comes to an end, that's it, right? It can't get any worse. It won't proliferate. It's done, right? It's well and truly done. So whatever challenges or issues you may have had in your partnership or your relationship, they come to a close now, all right? So you're actually in a good space. You got this with that Knight of Swords. This is just one of those, remember, you're fighting together. You're fighting the external together, not each other. Yeah. For your money and materials, you've got the Knight of Cups. So, I mean, this is quite nice, right? Two knights represents intimacy. So for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, maybe you're getting back to that in the relationship or as part of the relationship. You've got this for your money though, and usually this is an offer or an opportunity that's coming into you. It's coming here with the Knight of Swords. So I will say this to you, just be cautious. Remember what I said about expectation. You just need to be sure that whatever it is that is on offer, there's no other strings attached to it. And I kind of feel like there may be, just because of what came up with the Knight of Swords. Usually though, the Knight of Cups is a solid offer, and it may be that the offer is solid, but it might be that they're, you know, underselling what it is that they actually expect for this extra money. Maybe your boss says, look, you know, we want to pay you more. And what they're not telling you is actually, you know, in the new year, we're planning to give you a whole bunch more responsibility that you're not aware of. It's not a bad thing. It's just, you know, tell me what I'm getting all together rather than sort of drip feeding it like, oh, we're giving you a pay rise, and then, you know, 2, 3, 4 weeks later, oh, and we're also giving you all of this new work. Yeah. You know, just keep it above board. I know you guys will see this anyway. For those of you that are, when it comes to your physical health and vitality, this card always for me speaks to the your endocrine system, especially. I'm not a doctor, I can't give you medical advice, but look after yourself in that regard. And also your feet and your ankles and your tootsies, your toes, right? So look out for the lower extremities over the course of the next couple of weeks. And then when it comes to your home and environment, it doesn't look like you guys are spending much time at home. So maybe you're traveling for Christmas, maybe you are maybe you're having people over, which, you know, kind of makes sense for those of you that do travel anyway. Celebrate even Christmas, you know, the holidays, etc. All right, for your Human Design Oracle deck card for the new moon message, you have the Gate 50 and responsibility. This card for me usually usually talks a lot about family, and it very often sees us either having newfound responsibilities or those new responsibilities now starting to show up. It also reminds us that we need to blend with our environment, our tribe, our whatever. I guess what I'm trying to say to you with this is the new moon is going to show you where you can't exist in a vacuum, all right, whatever that means to you. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a wonderful holiday season. Have an even better new year. Again, thank you so much for all of your support this year. Take care, and I'll see you soon.